big fight right now is this Clarity Act, and it seems to be over the fact that banks absolutely no way will they allow, if they can do anything about it, allow stable coins to earn yield. Right? That's what the whole fight's over.
Yeah.
How do you see this fight that's happening and taking place? Because, anyway, frame it up.
Well, have you ever seen that meme with like two people fighting and the guy like watching them smoking, just chilling?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, because we serve predominantly the U.S. Americans don't care about stablecoins at all.
We already have a stable coin.
So,
We already have stable coins. We already use the
we already
dollar.
have
Yeah.
in fact, like the concept itself is kind of like stupid for Americans. It's like, what do you mean? Is it $1 or not?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want dollars. Like, yeah, okay. Is it $1? Like, I don't care. Like, so really the fight is, there's a few things. It's the stablecoin yield thing, which is, you can't talk about the Clarity Act without talking about Tether, right? Tether is the big behemoth, the elephant in the room. They were the first major stablecoin, and they're the biggest. They have the network effect, and uniquely, Tether does not pay any rewards on their stablecoin to any partners, any exchanges. They don't pay you interest if you hold it. They keep all of the interest and yield on that stuff for themselves. It's an incredible business.
Yeah.
And so these other stable coins like USDC and others, they wanted to try to compete with Tether by offering yield. And the banks don't want it. And Tether probably also doesn't want them to be able to earn yield because Tether has the network effect. They don't want anyone else to try and break it by paying out yield and then have to compete with that. So the banks and Tether are kind of the real winner here. USDC is kind of in this weird, that's Coinbase's and Circle's stable coin. They're kind of this weird thing where it's like the regulated one, but Americans don't really need stable coins, so it's never going to be that big. So, and then there's the other aspect of this Clarity Act, which is, and so honestly, that whole fight doesn't really matter to me because at River, your dollars are at a bank in a bank,
and they're earning
there's
yield.
no stable coin involved. So then the other thing is who regulates crypto? That's like the other aspect of this bill. And is it, all these crypto casino exchanges want to get away from the SEC. They want to be regulated by the CFTC, which is a more chill regulator. For us, honestly, clarity here actually isn't good either way because Bitcoin today isn't regulated by the federal government, by any federal regulator. We have to follow the Bank Secrecy Act and register with FinCEN, but we don't have like a regulator,
regulating you as an exchange.
Regulating us as an exchange. We're regulated as a money transmitter by the states.
Okay.
So we have licenses and all this in the states.
But you could either be a bank that you're regulated federally, or you can be a money transmitter, and then you have to get state by state. Is that right?
Correct. Okay. Correct. And being a bank is like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so really, if the Clarity Act passes, we'll get an extra regulator. The CFTC then also becomes a regulator, and then it's like, okay, so honestly, it's kind of not the whole thing. Honestly, if it doesn't pass, fine by me. Doesn't help us at all, frankly.
Who does it help?
The crypto casinos, like the Coinbase basically, because now the CFTC is the regulator and they can avoid the SEC.
Didn't Coinbase withdraw support for the Clarity Act? I thought I saw there was a big.
Well, that because of the interest part of it, they want to be able to pay out interest on stablecoins and to compete with Tether. But now that provision, they're losing to the bank lobby, it seems. So honestly, if this whole thing falls apart, good.
Yeah.
Doesn't impact, it's not like it helps us in any way.
Yeah. So who does it help?
Well, at this point,
you said Coinbase, but Coinbase is,
it's unclear. Yeah. It's like the CFTC thing helps Coinbase, but the interest thing doesn't.
Right.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
because Coinbase withdrew support, so obviously they don't want it, so it doesn't help them too much.
Tether, it helps Tether.
I mean, I guess it locks the banks in so they don't have to compete with people having yield on stable coins.
The real winner is Tether and the banks.
Yeah.
And which kind of ironically, well, Tether's got a lot of influence in DC right now, and so do the banks.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side, if we want to think about this from a, whatever game theory sort of framework, is that, I've done a couple of videos on this. If stablecoins could earn yield, it literally puts the banks out of business, because the bank's business is to take deposits and then lend them out in different durations, right? Fractional reserve, right? So they're going out 5 years, 7 years, 30-year loans. But if my money is portable and I can earn yield, then why would I leave it in a bank earning 0.4 when I could just move it somewhere else? And the banks can't have deposits just moving around. Like, they need your money to stay there because of the loans that they have this duration. So it basically ends the banking model as we know it. I would think that Tether would be more than happy to give up. I mean, it's a tiny company that has the biggest profit margins in the world. Like, give up a couple points and you put the banks out of business. Look how much bigger your business would grow, kind of a thing, right? So, and if we play game theory there, but I could see why the banks don't want it. Anyway, interesting. What I don't understand, and I'm sure you don't either, but like, it was passed, the president signed it, and now the banks can now block it, right? Was
Did
it
the president sign it? I don't-
It wasn't.
I haven't followed.
It wasn't
the
passed.
latest.
Oh, okay. Anyway, all right. So, what do you think about the regulations on the space then? So you're not a fan of the Clarity Act. I know a lot of people want it because they want clarity. You just prefer a lighter hand.
Well, to us, here's the thing. It gives clarity for crypto and stablecoins. Bitcoin already had clarity. So it's clarity for who, right? Clarity for crypto, but Bitcoin already had clarity. It's not a security. And here's the state regulatory regime. I mean, it's annoying, but it's straightforward at this point. So it was a known quantity. So it doesn't give us any more clarity. It just adds one more rule.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the fact that I don't even like the name of it, because it's like, years ago, I was at the Bitcoin conference on the news desk with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, and they were talking about, we need the regulations, we need the clarity, we need the clarity on what we can do. And I said, hang on. Like, you're from Canada. Like, we're from America. We're free. So we don't need laws to tell us what we can do. We're free. We're supposed to be able to do things. The laws tell us what we cannot do. So, like, we're not begging for that. And the very fact that they have to give us a law for clarity, it's like, that sort of works opposite of everything that we stand for, I thought.
There is one thing that we are participating in with the Clarity Act conversations, and I just remembered it. And I think they're doing this to try and win over, maybe the Bitcoin crowd. There is one thing that's potentially good for Bitcoin, which is a de minimis exemption.
Yeah.
If you spend Bitcoin below some threshold, there's just not taxes involved. That would be big, and that would okay. That's the kind of clarity that I would love. So if that can be included in the Clarity Act, then okay, fine. I actually think it maybe is overall net good. That's the one thing, worth mentioning.
Do they say what like a threshold would be, or is it like $600 or something like that?
I would guess it's like 600.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know the latest conversations. I think they're actually in DC chatting about that today.
What would your speculative guess, be? I mean, do you think if they passed the de minimis, we'd really see medium of exchange use cases of Bitcoin pick up?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think drastically, because I think the fundamental issue is, one, people don't really still want to spend their Bitcoin. Now it's less burdensome, given there's not a taxable event, but still, like, if you have dollars, I'm probably going to spend my dollars instead of my Bitcoin. Two, it's like a friction thing, right? It's just sort of, payment networks are sticky. And the example I always use is, look at countries with really crappy currencies, like Argentina, right? Even when it's a super crappy currency and people don't want to save in it, they're still spending in it. Like, because it's so sticky, you have to pay your taxes in it. You got to like swipe your card, it just all works. And so everyone's saving in dollars down there, but they're still spending in pesos.
Yeah. Hey, if you like this short conversation I just had, you're going to love the full length conversation. Don't miss it. You can go ahead and click right over here, and I'll see you over there.